To walk around downtown Los Angeles is to see ghosts. Even on a crisp, bright Sunday morning, they're impossible to miss. The ghost of a thriving financial district, once dubbed the Wall Street of the West, now abandoned. The ghost of a beloved streetcar system that was ripped out in the 1960s, leaving LA dependent on congested freeways. And if you believe in this sort of thing, there are also the ghosts of all those who've suffered and died at the Hotel Cecil, whose checkered history is the subject of the new Netflix documentary Crime Scene, Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. The Cecil has seen more than its share of violence over the years. At least 16 people have died there, and it has been the location of countless other brutal crimes. Serial killer Richard Ramirez even called it home during much of his 1985 murder spree. Most recently, 21-year-old Canadian student Eliza Lam died during her stay under mysterious, disturbing circumstances. The hotel closed its doors 4 years ago, following an eventful decade of attempted reinvention. Aware of the Cecil's reputation, its new owners had tried to rebrand it as a hip, low-budget hostel called Stay on Main. Today, the place has an eerie and discordant vibe. Its modern Stay on Main branding sits awkwardly alongside the ornate 1920s architecture of the building, vivid orange clashing with gold trim. But if you peer through the glass, you can still see the opulent lobby, all marble and terrazzo flooring and wrought iron lamps. How did this elegantly designed hotel go from being a lively, desirable destination to what one detective quoted in Netflix's documentary described as hell on earth? To understand what happened to the Cecil, you first have to understand what happened to Los Angeles. Though now known as a place where you can't survive without a car, LA once boasted a sprawling public transit system that crisscrossed the entire city. In the early 20th century, it was the largest electric railway system in the world. Proximity to the railway lines was central to the Cecil's appeal when it opened its doors in 1924. Its main street destination was then at the beating heart of the city, surrounded by theaters, restaurants, shopping, and the Spring Street financial district. Designed by local architect Lloyd Lester Smith, and named after the prominent hotel of the same name in London, the Cecil catered to business travelers and tourists who wanted to be where the action was. Soon though, the action in downtown took a turn. The Great Depression hit the area hard, as did the rise of the suburbs and the birth of LA's freeway system. After World War II, people wanted more space. They wanted a more suburban environment. Once the freeways were built in the early 1950s, people began settling further away from the core of the city. By 1960, LA's streetcar system was torn out, putting a final nail in the coffin of downtown as any kind of city center. Walking around the neighborhood, you can see the anchor hooks on the corners of buildings where the streetcar cables used to connect, the scars of a wound from which the neighborhood has never recovered. As the population of Los Angeles surged during the 1960s, downtown was trapped in amber, an increasingly edgy ghost town. It became a lawless kind of place, and a place for people who couldn't or didn't want to live in any other kind of environment, and even within downtown, their options were dwindling. Many of these people ended up on Skid Row, just yards from the Cecil Hotel. Crime became rampant in and around the hotel. The Los Angeles Police Department would routinely respond to multiple calls a day from the hotel. And so, no longer able to attract business travelers or tourists, hotels like the Cecil began offering single-room occupancy accommodations, where down on their luck tenants would rent solo rooms with shared bathrooms, often on a long-term basis. Since its construction in 1924, downtown Los Angeles rooming house, the Cecil Hotel was a hot topic, first as an opulent getaway with an iconic lobby, and later as the site of a score of deaths and the home of at least two serial killers. As well as high-profile homicides, as well as on-site deaths by misadventure or suicide, didn't help its reputation. It's been nearly 100 years since Los Angeles Cecil Hotel first opened its doors to the public, but the downtown hotel is marked by tragedy that has only escalated in recent years. Even Zach Bagans, the host of Ghost Adventures, told this viewers it doesn't get bigger or more sinister than this, prior to the premiere of his 2-hour Ghost Adventures special on Discovery Plus earlier this year. In 2013, the Cecil Hotel gained national attention after the mysterious disappearance of Eliza Lamb, a Canadian college student, was spotted behaving erratically on elevator surveillance video before vanishing. Lamb's naked body was later found in a closed water tank on the hotel's roof. The intrigue into the ominous building was the catalyst for podcasts, documentaries, and amateur investigations into the legacy of the troubled property. The Cecil Hotel gained national attention after the mysterious disappearance of Eliza Lamb, a Canadian college student, was spotted behaving erratically on elevator surveillance video before vanishing. Guests at the Cecil Hotel complained to hotel staff about low water pressure and funny-tasting water. An inspection of one of the rooftop water tanks on February 19, 2013, revealed the problem. Lamb's naked body was later found in a closed water tank on the hotel's roof. The intrigue into the ominous building was the catalyst for podcasts, documentaries, and amateur investigations into the legacy of the troubled property. The elevator video is so strange, to say the least. Unsettling if you watch it a few times. No one could make sense of what exactly happened to Eliza Lamb until conspiracy theorists and paranormal fanatics zeroed in on one dubious explanation, an urban legend called the elevator game. Urban legend or portal to another world, the elevator game purports to blur the lines of reality for players if they follow the rules and don't make a potentially fatal mistake. One disturbing case has caught the attention of believers and skeptics. Not surprisingly, the popularity of the elevator game has been powerfully influenced by online accounts of it. And, as too often happens, it has become even more widely known as the alleged cause of a tragedy, the death of Eliza Lamb. The elevator game, or the elevator to another world, is not for the faint of heart. Originating in Korea and Japan, it's essentially a step-by-step ritual that is believed by some to blur the lines of reality. Although the exact dates of its origin are unknown, the game probably hasn't been around for very long, and some posts regarding game outcomes date back only to 2011. There are many steps to playing and surviving the elevator game, and, as we've been warned, it's imperative that you follow them precisely and in the exact order. In this game, you will need at least one player and an elevator in a building with a minimum of 10 floors. You must ride the elevator alone to play the game. You ride the elevator from floor to floor in a specific sequence, up to the 4th floor. Down to the second floor, up to the 6th floor. Back down to the 2nd floor, up to the 10th floor. And then down to the 5th floor. Remember not to get off at any of the floors. When you get to the 5th floor, if you encounter a mysterious woman, do not look at her and do not answer or interact with her in any way. The consequences of engaging with her are said to include the possibility of never returning to the real world. Now, push the button to descend from the 5th floor to the 1st floor. Here's where they say things could get crazy. If the elevator operates normally and takes you to the 1st floor, exit immediately and do not look back or talk to anyone. But if, instead of taking you from the 5th to the 1st floor, the elevator begins to go up, well, congratulations, you're being allowed into another world, or so they say. So, now you know how to punch your ticket to this portal to another world. Elevator game believers say all sort of things might happen at this point. Things might look different. It might be dark and spooky, and the power might be out, and no one else will be around. Some players have even claimed that they looked out the window and saw only a red cross in the distance. You might even lose consciousness. The last known video of Eliza Lam alive showed her in an elevator in the Cecil Hotel. Days later, her body was found in the hotel's water tank on the rooftop. Her unnerving behavior is thought to be a result of an episode related to her bipolar disorder, and the coroner ruled her death an accidental drowning, saying there were no drugs in her system. But some still wonder how she could have gotten onto the roof and into the water tank in the first place, and furthermore, how would she have closed the lid behind her? These and other mysterious circumstances surrounding Elisa's death have led some to believe she was murdered, while others point to the paranormal, claiming the building itself is cursed or haunted. The Cecil Hotel on 7th and Main Street. So what are your thoughts about the Cecil Hotel and Eliza Lam? Do you feel this location is cursed? Please feel free to comment your thoughts below. I would like to thank you for joining me here today on my channel, Enlightenment in the Darkness. Please like and subscribe to my content. Many blessings to the rest of your day.